Welcome to the Midweek message. We're taking some lessons from the book of Ecclesiastes. I'm reading from chapter 9, verses 1 through 2, and I'm reading from the New Century Version of the Bible. Solomon said in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 1, I thought about all this and tried to understand it. I saw that God controls good people and wise people and what they do, but no one knows if they will experience love or hate. Good and bad people end up the same. Those who are right and those who are wrong. Those who are good and those who are evil. Those who are clean and those who are unclean. Those who sacrifice and those who do not. The same things happen to a good person as happen to a sinner, to a person who makes promises to God and to one who does not. And Solomon expresses a great element, reason, for consternation that many people experience today and talk about quite a bit. This is what he was thinking in verse 1. We look at these verses individually. I thought about all this and tried to understand it. I'm trying to make sense of life. I'm trying to get a grip on why things happen like they do. And I saw that God controls all things. He controls good people and wise people and what they do. I understood that God was in control when I tried to understand life. But no one knows if they will experience love or hate. So what he's saying is a person may do good or bad, be virtuous or evil. That is no guarantee in itself whether or not that person will be loved, respected, receive good, or whether they will be hated, scorned, and receive bad for the things they have done. And there are many people indeed that try to do the right thing in life and end up with bad results. Contrary-wise, there are many people that live lives full of wickedness, and it seems like that they can receive no wrong regardless of what they do. This is a great difficulty for many people to wrap their head around, particularly if they're really trying to understand things and they would like to believe that God actually controls all things. So verse 2, following the point. Good and bad people end up the same. Those who are right and those who are wrong. Those who are good and those who are evil. Those who are clean and those who are unclean. Those who sacrifice and those who do not. The same things happen to a good person as happen to a sinner, to a person who makes promises to God and to one who does not. So to do right, to fail to do right, to do evil, to fail to do evil, good, bad, or indifferent, the same things happen to people. Those who would attempt valid and valuable things like making a promise to God, and those who just refrain from that, maybe act as though God doesn't exist. The same type of things happen to those people. That's hard to understand, particularly if a person wants to believe that God is in control of everything, right or wrong, good or evil, clean or unclean, sacrificial or not. The same things happen to a good person as happen to a sinner, to a person who makes promises to God and to one who does not. Here's the truth about life. It is impossible to take risk out of life. Risk is a thing that is on all people. It's indigenous to life. It's impossible to, and so regardless of what you do, there's always an element of risk, always an element of uncertainty. Because you can't take risk out of life, you have to control the things that you can control, and that is the choices that you make. You diminish risk if you make good choices, but you don't eliminate risk. So something bad can happen even if you made wise and right and good choices. David, Solomon's father, said this, I was envious at those people who do wrong because it seemed like there was no recompense for their evil. It seemed like they were doing better than I was. And I was envious at those people until I considered their end. In the truest sense, there is no good that will not be recompensed by God. In the truest sense, there is no evil that will not be punished by God. And so we're encouraged to take the long look in life. And beyond that, we're encouraged to look as believers for our ultimate satisfaction, salvation, and ultimate sanctification to eternity.